Hi everyone, and welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to knit a top-down Raglan sweater, walking you through each step of the process from the very beginning. This sweater will be knit as a series, with each video focusing on a different part of the construction. In this video, we'll cover the cast on, the neckline, and setting up the yoke. This construction is worked seamlessly from the neck down and is a great foundation to understand for so many sweater patterns. Here, I'm following the baby sweater knitting pattern, which I'll have linked in the description box if you'd like to follow along. To begin, I'll be casting on using the long tail cast-on method. You're welcome to use a different cast-on if you prefer. Casting on creates the initial stitches that form the neckline of the sweater, establishing both the size and stretch of the opening. To work the long tail cast on, you'll estimate a tail long enough for your stitches. The long tail cast on creates stitches by alternately looping the tail and working yarn over the needle to build the first row. Again, if you're using circular needles, you'll cast on directly onto your circulars in the same way, but since I'm using DPNs, I'm casting all of my stitches onto a single needle. Be sure to follow your written pattern instructions to know exactly how many stitches to cast on. On my channel, I have videos on various cast-on methods, so you can check those out if you'd like a slower, more detailed tutorial for each. Once all the required stitches are cast on, because I'm using DPNs, I'll divide the stitches evenly across 3 needles. If you're using circular needles, you can skip this step entirely. As I transfer the stitches, I like to pause occasionally and make sure they're not twisted on the needle before continuing. Try to keep the stitches fairly even on each needle, but don't worry about perfection. Small differences won't affect the knitting. If one needle ends up with a few extra stitches, that's perfectly fine. The goal is balance, not exactness. At this point, the stitches should visually resemble how they would sit on circular needles. Next, you'll need to join your work in the round. I recommend using the invisible join technique, which creates a clean, seamless join with no gap. For this method, you'll need to cast on one extra stitch than the pattern calls for, since that stitch will disappear during the join. To do this, slip the first stitch from the left needle onto the right needle, then lift the extra cast-on stitch over it and off the needle. This closes the round neatly and leaves you with the correct stitch count to begin working the neck. Now you're all set up to begin the sweater, starting with the neck. Be sure to read your pattern instructions to see which stitch pattern is used for the neckline. For this particular pattern I'm working right now, it requires a half-twisted rib, so I'm alternating knitting one stitch through the back loop and purling one stitch all the way around. Half-twisted rib creates a clean, structured fabric with crisp columns that hold their shape beautifully, and it's one of my personal favorite ribbing styles to work with. The first row of ribbing is often the trickiest, so go slowly and don't rush this part. The neck ribbing on many sweaters is often worked as 1-by-1 rib, meaning you'll alternate knit and purl stitches across the round. Or it may be worked as a 2-by-2 rib, meaning you'll alternating knitting 2 stitches and purling 2 stitches around. Be sure your end of round stitch marker is easy to distinguish, as you'll be using additional markers later and things can quickly become confusing. At this point, you've completed the initial setup of the sweater by casting on, joining in the round, and working the first round of ribbing. From here, continue working in the stitch pattern for the required number of rounds to complete the neckline. Once you've knitted the required number of rounds indicated by the pattern, you've completed the neck of the sweater. For this particular pattern, I'll be creating a double knit neckline. To work this, I'll fold the knitted neck inward, tucking the edge under so it lines up with the original cast-on stitches at the base of the neckline. Each live stitch is then knit together with its corresponding cast-on stitch, which secures the folded edge in place and closes the neckline neatly. I'll repeat this process around, slipping each corresponding cast-on stitch onto the needle and knitting it together with the live stitch. If you'd like a slower, more in-depth tutorial of this process, I have a dedicated video on my channel. A double knit neck adds extra warmth, durability, and structure, while also giving the sweater a clean, professional finish that holds its shape over time. This method creates a smooth interior finish with no exposed edges, making it especially comfortable and long-lasting, perfect for a baby sweater. Now that the neckline is officially complete, the next step is to set up the yoke of the sweater. The yoke is the upper portion of the garment that connects the neckline to the body and sleeves, and this is where the sweater begins to take shape. During this step, we'll divide the stitches into sections for the front, back, and sleeves. To do this, you'll place stitch markers to clearly separate each section. Be sure to refer closely to your pattern instructions here. The designer has already done all the stitch math for you, making this part very straightforward. Simply follow the pattern's instructions for how to distribute the stitches and place each marker. It's also important that your end of the round stitch marker remains easy to identify, since you'll now be working with multiple markers. Here, I'm using 2 red stitch markers placed right next to each other to clearly designate the end of the round. Now that all the stitch markers are in place, the yoke is fully divided into 2 sleeves, a front panel and a back panel, with 4 raglan stitches separating each section. In the next section of the sweater, we'll begin working short rows to shape the neck. This is where the stitch count will finally start to increase as the sweater begins to grow. Because more stitches will soon be added to the needles, I'm going to switch my work onto 16-inch circular knitting needles at this point. As the stitch count increases, you'll want to use a needle length that comfortably accommodates all of your stitches without crowding. Whether you switch to longer needles now or a bit later, the goal is simply to make sure your stitches can move easily and that the fabric isn't being stretched or compressed on the needles. Here's what the work looks like after transferring it to circular needles. In the next video, we'll explore the next steps of knitting a top-down raglan sweater, including short row neck shaping, growing the yoke, dividing the body and sleeves, and more.